Sawadee cop. No, somebody's being shy. Okay. So he left off where he did the 80-20 rule on himself, on his personal life. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, and I made several simple but emotionally difficult decisions, because remember, he did it with friends too, as well as his business. It literally changed my life forever, enabled the lifestyle I now enjoy, and that's where we left off yesterday. So the first decision I made is an excellent example of how dramatic and fast the ROI of this analytical fat cutting can be. I stopped contacting 95% of my customers. Wow, he didn't stop at 80. He went up for 95. He fired 90. I stopped contacting 95% of my customers and fired 2%, leaving me with top 3% of producers to profile and duplicate. So he did more drastic than 80-20. He slashed 98%, 2% or 97%. 2% he literally fired and said, go find another supplier, which is interesting. Those are the guys giving them the most hassle, obviously, taking the most time. And then 95, he just stopped contacting to see if they'd keep doing business with him without constant touches on his part to free him up. Smart. And then he did, for the 3% that were left that he chose to work with, he studied them to profile and say, who are these customers? You know, why are they good? Why are they using me? And then duplicate. Go find more like that 3% to replace the 2% he fired and the 95 that he kind of put on hold. Out of more than 120 wholesale customers, a mere 5 were bringing in 95% of the revenue. That's why he cut that much. So it wasn't 80-20 for him. It was 95-5. That's why he acted that way. Interesting. 95% of the revenue from 5 customers out of 120. So see, that's not even 5%. That's lower because it's 120, not 100. I was spending 98% of my time chasing the remainder. As the aforementioned 5 ordered regularly without any follow-up calls, persuasion, or cajoling. In other words, I was working because I felt as though I should be doing something from 9 to 5. I didn't realize that working every hour from 9 to 5 isn't the goal. It's simply the structure most people use, whether it's necessary or not. I had a severe case of work for work, the most hated acronym in the new rich vocabulary. W for W, work for work's sake. You're not advancing to your goals. It's not making you much income. Income's trickling in, not pouring in when you just work for work, right? That's what he found out. Great example. All, and I mean 100% of my problems and complaints came from this unproductive majority, with the exception of 2 large customers who were simply world-class experts of the here is the fire I started, now you put it out approach to business. Now, that's pretty common. I put all of these unproductive customers on passive mode. If they ordered, great. Let them fax in the order. If not, I would do absolutely no chasing, no phone calls, no email, nothing. That left the 2 larger customers to deal with, who were professional ball breakers, but contributed about 10% to the bottom line at the time. You'll always have a few of these, and it's a quandary that causes all sorts of problems, not the least of which are self-hatred and depression. Up to that point, I had taken their browbeating, insults, time-consuming arguments, and tirades as the cost of doing business. I realized during the 80-20 analysis that these 2 people were the source of nearly all my unhappiness and anger throughout the day, and it usually spilled over into my personal time, keeping me up at night with the usual, I should have said X, Y, and Z to that penis. Self-flagellation. I finally concluded the obvious. The effect on my self-esteem and state of mind just wasn't worth the financial gain. I didn't need the money for any precise reason, and I had assumed I needed to take it. These customers are always right, aren't they? Part of doing business, right? Hell no. Not for the new rich, anyway. I fired their asses and enjoyed every second of it. The first conversation went like this. Customer, what the bleep bleep? I ordered 2 cases and they arrived 2 days late. Note, he had sent the order to the wrong person via the wrong medium, despite repeated reminders. You guys are the most disorganized bunch of idiots I've ever worked with. I have 20 years of experience in this industry, and this is the worst. Meanwhile, he bought steady from the guy. So he's just a blowhard. He fucked up, and he just blustered to cover up his fuck up. Any new rich, or in this case me, I will kill you. Be afraid. Be very afraid. That's a good answer. I'm down with that answer. I wish. I did rehearse that a million times in my mental theater, but it actually went something more like this. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I've been taking your insults for a while now, and it's unfortunate that it seems we won't be able to do business anymore. I recommend you take a good look at where this unhappiness and anger is actually coming from. In any case, I wish you well. If you would like to order product, we'll be happy to supply it, but only if you can conduct yourself without profanity and unnecessary insults. You have our fax number. All the best and have a nice day. Click. So even when he fired him, he didn't really fire him. He said you can still order. You just got to order like a good boy. In other words, you know, abide by our system or get the fuck out, which I like a lot. When you go to see the doctor, you call and you beg for an appointment and you wait 2 weeks and you go see the doctor. You go into the lobby and you wait. You wait until the doctor's ready to see you, even though you have an appointment. That's how you need to run your business. They need to wait to see you. They need to schedule an appointment to see you. They can't just anytime they want, you know, call you at midnight and say, I need something. That's not the way your business should work. Maybe it does work that way now, like his did, and it shouldn't. I did this once via phone and once through email. So what happened? I lost one customer, but the other corrected course and simply faxed orders again and again and again. So he didn't even lose the 10%. And that goes back to what he said earlier in the book about what's the worst case scenario. They pull their business, I'll lose 10% of my business. But now that I've identified the 3% that are super customers and cause me no grief and just repeat order, I'll get more. I'll replace the bad guys who are taking up so much time with more good customers who just order and just fax like I tell them to fax. You want the product? Fax in your order. It's pretty simple. Problem solved. Minimum revenue lost. I was immediately 10 times happier. I then identified the common characteristics of my top 5 customers and secured 3 or so similarly profiled buyers in the following week. That's the part about modeling, right? Modeling the ones who were good, the 5 that were good, top 5. So now he's got 8 good customers where he had 5 before he started this exercise. So he lost 1 bad, but now he's got 8 good instead of 5. You see how this is where this is going? Remember, more customers is not automatically more income. More customers is not the goal and often translates into 90% more housekeeping and a paltry 1 to 3% increase in income. Make no mistake, maximum income from minimal necessary effort, including minimum number of customers, is the primary goal. I duplicated my strengths, in this case my top producers, and focused on increasing the size and frequency of their orders. The end result, I went from chasing and appeasing 120 customers to simply receiving large orders from 8, with absolutely no pleading phone calls or email haranguing. My monthly income increased from $30K to $60K. He doubled his income by firing the non-productive, hassle-inducing, time-demanding special cases, right? That's awesome. In 4 weeks. 4 weeks he doubled from 30 to 60K. My weekly hours dropped from over 80 to approximately 15. So 15 hours isn't 4 hours, but it's a lot better than 80. I think everybody would take that. Most important, I was happy with myself and felt both optimistic and liberated for the first time in over 2 years. Saved his mental health, saved his sanity. All right, now he goes into other ways he applied the 80-20 principle to dozens of areas. I'm going to actually save that for tomorrow. We're already at 9 minutes. Well, you know, oops, I've done it again. And there's somebody lurking in the background that needs some attention. So that's it for today. Good stuff. Once again, the guy went from 30K to 60K a month. That's awesome. And he did it by firing customers, which is counterintuitive. You'd never think you'd get double your income by firing customers, but he just explained exactly how he did that. Now you know.